Today's lesson is called Fire Safety Do's and Don'ts. Hello everyone, my name is Jeff.
And my name is Roger, and today what we're going to do is talk about what you should do in case of a fire. Sometimes a fire might start in your building, and your first instinct is to get out of that building, but today we're going to find out that maybe that isn't the best thing to do. Maybe you should stay right there, and we're going to talk about that and maybe other things you can do in case of a fire.
Did you say there's a fire? Oh, goodness. What we should do is we should all panic, freak out, scream and yell, and run. We should stampede out of here to get away from this fire. We should trample our loved ones, our family, our friends, maybe our coworkers, so that we can survive and get away from this fire. Now, of course, I'm not being serious right now. Everything I just said is the opposite of what you should do when there's a fire or when a fire breaks out. Every school child learns this probably in their first year of school. If there's a fire drill, let's say, where they practice how to handle a fire-related situation, or when they practice how to evacuate a school, everybody knows that you should file out in a calm and orderly way. There should be no running, no screaming, no yelling, nothing like that. When there's a fire, always remain calm, cool, and collected. Now, that's all great advice, but sometimes we need more specific information. We need more specific information on what to do when certain types of fires break out. And yes, today we are going to be giving you guys fire safety do's and don'ts. All right, everyone, let's go ahead and take a short break, but when we come back, we'll start reading our article on the do's and don'ts of fire safety.
Fire safety do's and don'ts. Imagine being woken by the wail of an alarm and the smell of smoke. Do you know for sure what to do in this situation? You might be surprised by the answer.
大家好，第一部分我们看到单字 wail， 这个字是名词，指警笛等尖啸声。例如 I heard the wail of the police sirens ring several times last night. 昨晚我听见警车的警笛响了好几次。而 wail 除了上面的意思外，还可以指人嚎啕大哭。我们可以说 The victim's mother wailed at the funeral. 罹难者的母亲在丧礼上痛哭。
Okay, so these are do's and don'ts of fire safety. So, of course, if we talk about do's and don'ts, we're talking about things you should do and things you shouldn't do, or things you don't want to do. So this is basically a list of advice for you in the case of a fire. Hopefully, this is the advice from qualified experts. So here in the first part of our lesson, it says, imagine being woken by the wail of an alarm and the smell of smoke. We certainly don't want that to happen to any of us, but this could happen. You should imagine this. If you were woken up in the middle of the night, you could smell smoke and you could hear the wail of an alarm. Now here, wail is not the same thing as that big aquatic creature living in the ocean, a killer whale or a sperm whale or something like that. No, here, whale with a different spelling, W-A-I-L, refers to a sound that is loud and it's obnoxious, and usually it's a sound that is not really organized. It kind of just goes through the air. Sometimes it's high-pitched, sometimes it's low-pitched. In this case, we're talking about the wail of an alarm. It could also be the wail of a siren from an ambulance or a fire truck. So here, yeah, you could hear that wail, that sound of an alarm. and you're probably going to be very scared if you hear that.
And that's the idea, okay? As far as an alarm is concerned, it should be loud. It should get your attention. There should be a wail of an alarm. Otherwise, you're not going to take that thing seriously. And if you're asleep, let's face it, something high-pitched and loud is what it's going to take to get you out of bed, to wake you up. So yes, this alarm, it should be high-pitched. It should be noisy. That way, it'll get your attention. That's the idea. So yes, imagine being woken up by the wail of an alarm. And in addition to this, there's the wail of the alarm and then also the smell of smoke. What does this mean? It means fire. Yes, where there's smoke, there is fire, and where there are fire alarms, sometimes there's fire as well. Anyways, let's say you do wake up. You hear the siren there, you hear the alarm, and you smell smoke. Do you know for sure what to do in this situation? There's the question. You might be surprised by the answer. And like I said before, this is a pretty good question. And this is but the first of a few questions that we are going to be asking and then answering in today's lesson. So let's go ahead and get started. When we come back from a break, we are going to be answering the following question. If your apartment building was on fire, should you stay or go? Yes, we'll be answering this particular question right after this.
If your apartment building was on fire, should you stay or go? Most people's instinct is to try to escape as soon as they realize a fire has broken out. However, in a high-rise building, it's usually safer to stay put as long as the fire isn't in or nearby your apartment. Leaving could put you in greater danger because stairwells can act as chimneys, channeling smoke upward. To keep smoke from entering your apartment, block the cracks around your door with wet towels and cover any vents while you wait for firefighters.
第二部分我们看到一个形容词 high rise 指建筑高楼层的，像是 Protesters blocked the construction of several high-rise apartment buildings on the riverfront. 抗议群众围堵了河岸上好几座公寓高楼的工地。这个字除了当形容词用之外，还可以当作名词，指高层建筑。可以说Julian's grandparents live on the top floor of a luxurious high-rise. Julian 的祖父母住在豪华高楼的最顶层。接着，我们看到单字 vent， 这个字是名词，指排气口、通风口。举例来说 ，excess hot air is released through these vents. 多余的热空气是经由这些排气口排出。另外 vent 除了可以当名词，也可以当作动词，有发泄、表达的意思。我们可以说 Employees in the sector have vented their anger at management's failure to keep its promises. 这个部门的员工对于主管没有履行诺言表示愤怒。
Okay, so the first part here and the second part of our lesson for today asks the question, if your apartment building was on fire, should you stay or should you go? Yeah, what should you do if you hear the wail of an alarm or you can smell smoke? So most people's instinct is to try to escape as soon as they realize a fire has broken out. When they realize or when they know or when they think that a fire has started. To break out here just means to start. So this is your natural instinct. Instinct here just refers to that sort of a sixth sense that you have of what you should do. We talk about instinct in animals, like spiders have an instinct to make webs, or cats have an instinct to give themselves baths all the time. But in this case, our natural reaction, our gut reaction to the smell of smoke and the sound of a siren is to get the heck out of there. Get out of that apartment. Try to escape.
There you go. Most people's instinct is to try to escape as soon as they realize a fire has broken out. But is this instinct right? Is it correct? Or is it leading you astray? Let's go ahead and get into that. However, our article continues, however, in a high-rise building, it's usually safer to stay put as long as the fire isn't in or nearby your apartment.
That's right. So this is the case of a fire being in a high-rise building, sometimes simply just called a high-rise, which means a building that has many stories or many floors, maybe more than 10 or so. So if you live in such a building like a lot of people in Taiwan do, then maybe you should just stay where you are. Stay put. Don't go anywhere. As long as the fire isn't in your own apartment or isn't nearby. So if it's the neighbor who has a fire, yeah, maybe you should get out of there. Or if it's actually in your own apartment, yeah, get the heck out of there. But, you know, if the fire is in an apartment on a lower floor or a higher floor, in these circumstances, maybe you should just stay put. Stay there, and you might be better off.
Yeah, leaving, it says, could put you in greater danger because stairwells can act as chimneys, channeling smoke upward. So yes, stay put. By the way, notice that no one is talking about using the elevator. If a fire breaks out in your house or your apartment or anything like that, stay away from the elevator. If you have to flee, use the stairwells, but beware, yes, sometimes stairwells aren't perfect. Yes, stairwells apparently can act as chimneys in case of fire or if a fire breaks out. These stairwells can act as chimneys, channeling smoke upwards. Anyways, here we have the word upward. Upward means toward the sky, in an up direction, not down. So yes, upward means toward the sky, towards a higher point, or towards a higher place. And yeah, the opposite of the word upward is downward. For example, you could say, upward and onward we go.
Indeed. So, of course, if the fire is in an apartment on the first floor, for example, the smoke can get into the stairwell and go straight up as if the stairwell were a chimney, and that smoke gets directed or channeled upward. Now, to keep smoke from entering your apartment, block the cracks around your door with wet towels and cover any vents while you wait for firefighters. So a crack is just like a line that has formed when something breaks. If somebody throws a rock at your windshield in your car, you might get a crack there. And so there might be cracks around your door, openings at the very bottom or at the sides where air can get in. You need to get some wet towels and stick those in those cracks, in those openings, so the smoke cannot come in.
There you go. To be very clear here, a crack is a small, narrow opening or space in something. Yeah, as far as your door is concerned, there's a crack at the bottom of your door, okay? Air can get in and get out through this narrow, small opening or place. So we call that a crack. But usually a crack is like a small break in something. Yeah, cracks can be small breaks on the surface of something that kind of look like lines in that thing. They won't be big breaks, just these little breaks on the surface of something that kind of look like lines. But again, that's not the case here. A crack is going to be that small, narrow opening, or a small, narrow opening or space in something. All right, folks, with that, it's time for us to take a small break, but don't go away. When we come back, we'll be answering this next question. The question, how long do you have to escape a house fire?
How long do you have to escape a house fire? In many cases, the answer is next to no time at all. A fire can reach the flashpoint within minutes, causing whole rooms to ignite instantly. Even so, the deadliest part of a fire is not the flames, but the smoke. When fleeing a fire, crawl on the ground where the air is clearer. Close any doors behind you, as this can reduce the oxygen supply and help choke the fire out.
第三部分，我们看到一个片语 in next to no time， 其中的 in 可以省略。这个片语表示马上，在很短的时间内。例如，Although Ralph seemed nervous about going to summer camp, his mom knew he would make friends next to no time. 虽然 Ralph 因为去夏令营而看起来很紧张，但他妈妈知道他马上就会交到朋友了。另外，补充一个同义的片语 in no time at all， 后面的 at all 可以省略。 我们可以说 This job can be difficult at first, but you will get used to it in no time. 这份工作开始会很困难，但你很快就会习惯。再来，我们看到一个单字 ignite， 这个字是动词，指燃烧、点燃。举例来说 Mark ignited the bonfire ready for the celebration. Mark 点燃萤火，准备展开庆祝活动。而 ignite 除了上面的意思外，还可以指引发、激起情绪、事件等。我们可以说 The shooting of an unarmed man by police ignited riots across the city. 警方射杀一名手无寸铁男子，引发该市各地暴动。最后我们看到形容词 deadly 用来指致命的、致死的，像是 Health officials are battling a deadly strain of influenza. 保健官员正在对抗一种致命的流行性感冒病毒。另外补充一个 deadly 的同义词 lethal, L-E-T-H-A-L, lethal. 我们可以说 The police officers tried to avoid using lethal force to subdue the suspect. 警察试着避免使用致命武力来制服嫌犯。
Okay, so again, we're talking about do's and don'ts of fire safety. Unfortunately, we still hear about fires from time to time, even though we try to stop them. So you need to be prepared in case a fire strikes your apartment or your house or whatever. So yes, in the first part of our lesson, or our last part, we talked about what you should do if there's a fire in your apartment building. But now we're asking a question, how long do you have to escape a house fire? When the fire starts, how much time do you have to get out of your apartment? You might be thinking, well, the fire has started, but I'm still having a line chat with my friend here. Do I still have time to send maybe 2 or 3 more messages or something like that?
No, you don't. No.
Do I have time for that?
No.
Well, I can't be bothered by a fire. This is very important. I need to send this message. But how much time do you have?
Get out of there, okay? This is no longer a high-rise apartment building. This is a house fire in a home. So how long do you have? In many cases, the answer is next to no time at all. So don't send any line messages. Get out of there. Now here we have this phrase, next to no time. Okay? It says here the answer is next to no time at all. So how much time do you have? Almost no time. You have a very limited amount of time to get out. Maybe not 0 seconds or 0 minutes, but close. So in this situation, you have to get out immediately. You have to get out without delay. You have to get out instantly. You have to get out quickly as possible, because you have next to no time at all.
You've got some time, but almost no time. If you had no time, then you're a goner, you're dead, there's no hope. You might as well get on your knees and say your prayers and get ready to meet your maker. But here, you've got a little bit of time, maybe a couple of seconds, but it is next to no time. You better move it. You better hightail it out of there. And a fire can reach the flashpoint within minutes, causing whole rooms to ignite instantly. Flashpoint just means that's when the fire starts and there's no turning back. You can't stop it after that. It can happen within just a couple of minutes, and the whole room can ignite instantly, right away. To ignite just means to start a fire.
There you go. Moving on, the next sentence says, even so, the deadliest part of a fire is not the flames, but the smoke. Yeah, very often the smoke will suffocate you, and that will kill you before the flames get a chance to roast you. So, when fleeing a fire, crawl on the ground where the air is clearer. You don't want to suffocate. You don't want to breathe in too much smoke. You might pass out and not be able to escape that fire. Anyways, before we move on, let's talk about the verb flee. To flee is to run away. To flee is to run away from danger or to get away from a dangerous situation in some way. Yes, fleeing and escaping are quite similar. For instance, you could say, the criminal fled from the scene of the crime.
Indeed. So you want to flee from that fire because that smoke can kill you. It can be deadly. And you also want to crawl on the floor or on the ground because the air there will be clearer because, as you know, hot air rises. Now, close any doors behind you, as this can reduce the oxygen supply and help choke the fire out. So normally, of course, having oxygen is good. We need to breathe oxygen in order to live. But if you've left a room and you're not in that room anymore, then the oxygen is not going to help you, okay? But the oxygen will help the fire. So you want to close the door so that the oxygen supply will run out in that room and then the fire will go out. Reducing the oxygen supply will help choke the fire out. So you can choke out a fire or you can choke a fire out. That just means it will be starved of its oxygen. It will no longer be able to burn.
Yes, it will go out. It will be choked out or snuffed out. Okay, so yes, fires like oxygen just like we do, so don't give that fire any more fuel. Anyways, yes, oxygen is a gas. It's essential to our survival on Earth. Oxygen is that part of the air that we breathe so as to not die. For instance, you could say, for humans, a lack of oxygen can lead to organ failure, brain damage, or even death. All right, everyone, with that, it's time for us to take a break, but don't go away. Next time, we'll be back with more fire safety do's and don'ts. For now, though, prepare yourself for the Chinese teacher.
Hello， 各位同学大家好，我是 Hanny。 我们来看今天的文法重点。课文第二部分问我们一个问题，说如果公寓失火了，该留下还是逃跑呢？他就说 Most people's instinct is to try to escape as soon as they realize a fire has broken out. 多数人的直觉是一发现失火就要赶快逃跑嘛。句子里面有一个片语 break out， 是指突然发生或者爆发。Break out 通常是指不愉快的事情突然发生，像是爆发战争啊、爆发争执、爆发流行病，或者是突然失火等等的。例如 ，A fight broke out between two of the players， 其中有2名球员突然爆发冲突了。好，那我们顺便来学一下 break out 的其他意思及用法。第一种呢是用来表达疹子啊、痘痘或是汗等等突然冒出来，这时候它的主词会是人。那 break out 后面呢通常会用介系词 in 再加上症状，通常是皮肤方面的症状，像是你可以加上 hives，H-I-V-E-S 表示荨麻疹，你还可以加上 pimples 表示粉刺， a rash 表示疹子，A sweat 表示一身汗。例如 Nick broke out in hives after eating shrimp. Nick 吃完虾子之后身上突然起了荨麻疹。好，第二个用法是用来表达逃脱越狱，那后面常常会搭配介系词 of。例如 Three prisoners attempted to break out of the jail. 3名囚犯企图逃狱。好，另外再补充一下，如果我们把这个 break out 交换位置，然后把它合成一个字变成 outbreak， 它是当名词来用。outbreak 就表示爆发、突然发生，像我们说 influenza outbreak 就是指流行性感冒的爆发。好，课文第3部分提到说，火可能会在几分钟内就达到燃点，所以如果独栋房子失火，要赶快逃命。他就说，火灾最致命的部分不是火焰，而是烟雾。The deadliest part of a fire is not the flames, but the smoke. 那这个句子它用到 not A but B 的句型， not A but B 表示不是 A 而是 B， 那它是用来连接2个对等的结构， A 和 B 的词性必须相同。例如 His goal is not to win the game but to break his own record. 他的目标不是要赢得比赛，而是打破自己的记录。那句子里面这个 to win the game 和 to break his own record 就是对等的结构，它们都是不定词片语。好，另外以 not A but B 来当主词的时候，注意它后面的动词是要配合 B 来做变化哦。 也就是说配合这个主词 be。例如 Not Anna, but her parents are going to the event. 不是 Anna, 而是她爸妈要去参加那个活动。那我们句子里面 be 动词就是配合最靠近的主词 her parents， 所以才会用 are。Not Anna, but her parents are 哒哒哒。好，以上就是今天重点整理，我们来回顾今天单字吧。
Wail. I could hear the wail of a police car as it raced to respond to an emergency call. Instinct. John's natural instinct is to trust people even if he doesn't know them very well. Upward. The balloon flew upward after Isabel accidentally let go of it. Crack. Light came into Alina's room through the crack in the doorway and kept her from falling asleep. Deadly. From 1918 to 1920, the deadly Spanish flu killed up to 5% of the world's population. Flee. Refugees fled the country when war broke out, hoping to find somewhere safer to live. Oxygen. About 21% of the air in the atmosphere is oxygen.
Okay, everyone. With that, today's article is now complete. But, as always, we sure hope that you guys have enjoyed reading along with us. Anyways, I'm Jeff.
I am Roger.
See you next time.